Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be talking about why United States is ditching the A10. So before I get into the video, there's a few things I want to say. First of all, my computer is currently stuck on high performance mode, which means the fans are going off like nothing else. So if you hear any fan type noises, that's the computer. Second of all, the people next to me apparently decided that they'd have to do music lessons when I got my spare. The one spare of the fucking day. So, in other words, if you hear any weird noises, don't worry, it's not me. I took my medicine, it's just the people near me. So, and then with the final point, if you guys find yourselves enjoying, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. It's the best way you can support me on this channel, and it helps get my stuff seen. So if you think I'm correct on anything, just please leave a like and subscribe. It helps. Also, I really want feedback. If I get something wrong, tell me. Don't just dislike the video, because clicking that dislike in sheer anger doesn't actually solve anything. I'm a reasonable person, and I'll change my opinion and I'll learn from getting things wrong. Clicking dislike doesn't help. So, with all that out of the road, let us get on with the video. The A10 Warthog is a very iconic aircraft. It has been in popular culture for ages. It is really famed and really just captured the imaginations and hearts of people worldwide thanks to the big gun that goes brr. If you search up A10 Warthog memes on the internet, you'll get a lot of Burt memes and a lot of freedom memes, because America is just an interesting place. But this is where I'm gonna raise a point. The problem is that the A10 Warthog is no longer strategically viable. So why is that, I hear you asking? Why is big plane with that flies low and slow no longer viable? Well, the answer is that close air support's not really something you can do anymore, thanks to modern systems. You see, this is the problem. People tend to forget that this thing exists.
Got hit, it was Putin on the roof.
Сегодня и так будет всегда. Спасибо.
Yeah. I apologize for it being War Thunder and a Donald Trump AI footage. However, I thought it'd be funnier this way, because, like, apparently people like funny shit. So cool. Anyway, with that out of the road, let's continue. The thing is, the A10 Warthog is very vulnerable in the modern environment, and this is the real reason why it's being retired. You can talk about the gun all you want, and yes, there's all these different issues, but overall, the A10's is vulnerable. It's not designed to deal with a modern day weapon system, and it's just not useful in a modern day doctrine. Allow me to explain. The A10 Warthog is its top speed's about 500 km an hour. That's as fast as it really goes. It's very large, and its general doctrine is to fly slightly above treetop level and gun down opponents. The problem is that flying above treetop level never really got you past radar. Early radars couldn't really detect things about that level because, well, they choose not to do it, but when you're flying against an enemy nation that's, really pissed off with you invading them, or you're really pissed off against them invading you, they're probably going to be using, believe it or not, radar systems that can detect at treetop level. This is how things like cruise missiles and hypersonics are detected, and this is one of the reasons why the Kinzhal hypersonic is not as special as everyone seems to think. So yeah, this is the big problem. The thing is, the A10 can be targeted by pretty much anything. Tunguskas, the other weapon system that Russia has, their surface-to-air missiles, the S-400s, the S-300s, to some extent the S-200s. The thing is that pretty much every single long-range missile system can target it. And of course, thanks to modern-day radars, it can be detected from hundreds of kilometers away. This thing is not stealth, just saying. And this is where the problem arises. The A10 Warthog, whilst very sturdy, is really only rated to survive small arms fire. A lesson that was learnt from Vietnam, as usual when people talk about legacy assets like this, because, well, the Vietnamese were shooting them down with machine guns. This was a big problem because, well, the Sky Raider was not very sturdy. It wasn't able to tank massive amounts of bullets, and it became very vulnerable to small arms fire. The A10 Warthog solves that problem by having a shit ton of titanium in it, and this basically solves all the small arms fire problems. The thing is, though, that we no longer use small arms to shoot down enemy aircraft. We use missiles. We use big cannons that are about 30 millimeters or so. And this is where the problem lies. The problem is that the A10 is vulnerable to these types of munitions. The larger munitions will punch through an A10 and completely eviscerate it. On the other hand, small arms fire still works, but at the end of the day, when you look at the A10, all it's really capable of doing now is standing up against insurgents, people who do not have weapon systems capable of countering you. Now, this is great for, going to Africa, or if you have to deploy to Middle East. The problem is, it's very useless if you have to deal with a modern near-peer power. Even if you're dealing with, hypothetically, Russia, you're quickly going to realize something. They still can shoot you down. And that's the problem. The problem is that the A10 Warthog is just very expensive, and you're paying for an aircraft that's really not viable in the first few days of a conflict. And this is a big problem. This means that your aircraft is effectively grounded until the enemy's anti-air missile systems and enemy fighter jets are neutralized. From then on, the A10 can have a field day, but at that point in time, you could use basically anything else in the modern day and age. Aircraft will still carry massive payloads. Aircraft like F-15s can act as bomb trucks. The B-1 Lancer is still around, and the B-52 exists. And of course, we also now have the new generation B-21s and the older generation B-2 Flying Spirits. The problem is that the A-10 really doesn't do anything particularly special. You see, any aircraft can fly in and fire the gun at the target. Of course, there's all this different data that raises the questions about how actually effective how effective the rotary cannon on the A10 actually is in a anti-tank role, but that's something I'll just ignore. The thing is that there are lots of other aircraft that can carry out a very similar role. And you can see this across the world, where very few countries are building close air support designated aircraft. There's more interest in multi-role fighter jets than a single heavy, low and slow flying combat aircraft that really doesn't achieve much. Even aircraft like the Su-25 Frogfoot are just produced in they are produced in reasonably large numbers, but the current modern generation ones are produced in very small numbers. And even countries like China are not going after this kind of asset. Sweden was initially going to design a close air support aircraft, but then they realized that it wouldn't work properly. And this is sort of where we come to the key point, is that the A10 just is no longer viable, or strategically or monetarily, in a modern day scenario. It's out of date, and it's very vulnerable to enemy missiles, enemy guns, and that's really the problem. The thing is, the A10 just doesn't do what it used to do in the modern day. So why is it being replaced with the F-35, here's someone asking? A plane that's inferior, right? Well, the answer is that the F-35 is not inferior. The problem is the F-35 is on the hype because Russian propaganda says so. That's effectively the general argument. Of course, funnily enough, the Russians will tell you how their simple, rugged aircraft is so much better with their thrust vectoring and stealth. The fact that people can put the words simple and thrust vectoring and stealth into the same fucking sentence kind of says how much they actually know about military affairs. And this is the problem. The problem is that Russian propaganda is going to do everything it can to bring down the F-35. China has sort of avoided talking shit about the F-35, and all they're saying is our current gen fighter jets and our fifth generation J-20s can take on the F-35. That's what they're saying. They're not saying the F-35's useless, they're just saying we are developing aircraft that can do it. And that's sort of the point. You got to understand that when you look at the F-35, it is an aircraft that it's leading the trends. Everyone wants stealth aircraft now. Everyone wants aircraft that can do the same thing as the F-35. And most designs that are being brought up are just basically being developed to do what the F-35 can do, but better. And that's sort of the big thing. Close air support is not a plane, it's a role. An F-35 can carry out close air support, it just doesn't carry a fuck ton of bombs and munitions, and it's just not flying in low and slow. Other than that, the F-35 is still a very solid aircraft, and it still carries powerful weapons that would instantly destroy any hostiles that it hits. But yeah, that's it for now. Again, if you guys did find yourselves enjoying, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye.